missing loved ones, recalling past joys, or just remembering how to walk and talk and fry an egg. Memory is the chain that connects our past to our present. If it breaks, we're left untethered, incapable of leaving the present moment and unable to embrace the future.
Remember when there were no MP3s but CDs? Didn't care about germs, no concern of disease. Street lights came on, we high-fived and we leave. Back in the days it wasn't so hard to believe that I would wake up as the Black Power Ranger. Never scared of danger, snapping my fingers to the beat of my drum. Became addicted to fun, we would fight with our hands. Never needed a gun, we would gladly chill in the house, play mom and daddy. The greatest feeling was when nobody could ever tag me. So happy, not being the last to be chosen, to run to the candy lady to buy us a frozen. We were just kids up to no good. Remember the first time you watched Boys in the Hood? Rat tail in the back while my barber fades me. Do you remember when? Yes, no, maybe.
When you would hear a song you liked and you felt like it was about your life. Remember when you would write a letter to your girlfriend and she would read it to all of her girlfriends. Remember staying up all night, talking on the phone. Remember skipping class with your homeboys.
Yeah.
Remember G.I.
Hey yo, I wrote this shit up all day. A long stay in the hallway. Harking back to an era of the tape play. Hitting on the track well, on the max cell. With the spitting the beginning of a rap tale. Elastic scoop the loop shine vividly. In due time, produce rhyme synergy. And for the longest caught the blinking of the torment. Till inkling of performance, still thinking of his dormant. And so it be, who hold close and kept dear. Were left there, won't know folks by next year. For ties cut, invest shares, perplex peers. Rise up, reflect fear, for hex snares. The rest cheer, know we did it for a purpose. Poem of a kid who never did scratch surface. Until we own it, respect the craft for proponents. Cause it ain't over till the song.
Remember what? You would hear a song you liked and you felt like it was about your life. Remember when you would write a letter to your girlfriend and she would read it to all of her girlfriends. Remember staying up all night, talking on the phone. Remember skipping class with your homeboys. Remember G.I. Joe.
I used to play Mortal Kombat with Matthew. I swore he used to cheat. I swear I could never beat him. Low sour jawbreakers, I swear I could never eat him. Baddest chick in the school, I swear I could never meet her. Until I wrote her a letter telling her I'm a singer. Me and Terrence would draw pictures of sneakers. Me and Ashley used to be in the class singing. I wrote my first rap in the back of the class thinking, I'm feeling it, yeah. Feel high that you get feeling live. If you feel it, raise your L in the sky. I remember selling dope. I was selling cassette tapes for $5. I was making my own beats. I was beatboxing.
Brown, brown sugar, that brown, brown, hey. 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 Brown, brown sugar, that brown, brown, hey.
Hey everybody, on a Monday afternoon here in South Florida. Gorgeous day, hot as heck. No wildfires, fingers crossed, so I'm pretty happy about that. But other than that, hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a nice relaxing weekend, taking some time at the beach, taking some time in the pool, trying to get a couple properties sold. You guys want to do some deals, you got to let me know. You guys want to get into some deals that are basically 100,000 plus profit potential, please go ahead and give me a call. Just got to just dial the digits. In case you don't know me, my name is Barry Cunningham. I am a real estate investor and developer here in South Florida. Right now doing all kinds of things in the market, planning for some opportunity zone stuff, which I'm going to talk to you about again tomorrow. Right now, looking to do some buying and selling, flipping as they call it. just everywhere trying to make some things happen. So I get a lot of text messages, a lot of comments from people who aren't really seemingly understanding what is exactly going on with these foreclosures and evictions. And what I keep trying to tell people is, yes, the CDC did go ahead and put a moratorium on foreclosures and evictions if you qualify. That's a big caveat right there. You have to be able to qualify for that protection. And that qualification is basically you have been financially impacted because of the COVID. You lost your job. You've received a huge reduction in salary. A couple different things, but you need to talk to a lawyer and figure out if you are covered under the umbrella of the CDC guidelines, which go right as of today, are extended through New Year's to December 31st, 2020. But now I'm hearing some really weird stuff from people. And, today it's September 14th, and we're talking 3 more months before this thing expires as it is written right now. And people are telling and saying that they don't know what they're going to do in 3 months. What are they going to do in 90 months? They're never going to be able to come up with the money. So let's talk turkey. Let's get to the meat of the problem here. Let's be big boys and big girls and pull up the big boy pants and understand something. Nothing as of right now, and I should just keep saying it, nothing as of right now is going to erase the debt. It's still running. The meter on this taxi, how expensive, depending on where you live, the meter is still running. It is going to continue to run. Eventually, the taxi is going to come to an abrupt halt. At least you have the date as to when that taxi ride is going to end, as of today. I'm not going to say that anymore. Just understand, as of today. That day is December 31st, 2020. You cannot come to court with an excuse on December 18th and say, I don't know where I'm going to live. You're going to have had at least 90 days to understand what to do. And then depending how long you've been in the property, you may have months where you haven't made rental payments. All of that is going to be due. Every single dime. So imagine if you have a property that you rent for $1,000 a month and you have not paid since March. And then come December 31st, this thing ends. What's that? 9 months. On January 1st, you are going to owe $9,000 plus penalties and fees. No ifs, ands, or buts. You owe the money. You're in a property, you haven't paid rent. You owe that money. $9,000. That's if your rent was $1,000 a month. If your rent was $2,000 a month, it's going to be like $18,000. And you can do the math in your own situation. Nobody is looking in the mirror and understanding what's happening. There's a moratorium on getting people out of properties. There is no moratorium on the debt that's running and running and running and running and running and running and running. I doubt there's going to be any judge that has patience to say you deserve more time if you knew today that December 31st is a drop dead date. You're going to have to show some real extenuating circumstances as to why A, you either didn't move, B, couldn't move, C, couldn't afford it. And that's going to be compounded by the fact that Governor DeSantis down here in South Florida just moved us into, most of us, into phase 2, some parts phase 3. Even Miami-Dade, which was the worst hit, is moving into phase 2. Jobs are going to be there. No ifs, ands, or buts. Things are opening back up. You have to understand, do what you can right now to not be in a position on December 31st to have no money and no place to go. Don't be that guy. Just don't be that guy. Go get a job doing anything at a restaurant or a hotel or anywhere out there and begin banking money. Understand you're not going to have a choice. So an article recently came out, and this article was from today, it looks like. And it's one of those articles that when you look at it is going to kind of drive you crazy. And it exemplifies what I'm talking about. And so here it is. It's talking about that there's, CDC banned evictions, but some renters are still vulnerable. And they're going to remain vulnerable until they take action. There's no tooth fairy coming. Don't rely on the government to save you here. It's just not smart. But, you get this guy here, and I feel really bad for him. He's got 2 sons, and he's home. And one of the things he says is that, how do we come out of this tunnel? I worry about it every day. And it says Smith hasn't been able to work during the coronavirus pandemic and has quickly depleted his small savings. Come January, he doesn't know how he'll come up with what could be thousands of dollars in back rent for his apartment in St. Paul, Minnesota. When they say you have 30 days to pay this, how do I catch up with owing that much? You probably don't. That's where it's time to put the big boy pants on. You have to sit there and go, there's probably no way I'm going to come up with months and months and months and months and months of payments. It's not going to happen. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, on December 31st, January shortly thereafter, depending on how you've been filed on, you got to get out. And you got to get into someplace else. Now, typically, a foreclosure is not going to show up on your credit or an eviction for 30, 60, maybe as long as 90 days. So don't wait. As of right now, you don't have that big F or that big E on your credit report. Obviously, if the government really wanted to do something, they would cancel credit reports for a period of time and say, okay, let's just not even look at those. But let's be realistic. You need to find some place to live. You need to be scouring every single apartment listing, every single house for rent listing, and just start finding some place to live and start fresh. That debt's going to be there, and you'll have to figure out something to do with it. It's not going to go away. The landlord's going to chase you. They're going to file in small claims court. They're going to come after you for it. But at least right now, your self-preservation should be telling you, I need to take care of my kids. I need to understand that these 2 boys need some place to live. Your problems are not their problems. Your problems are you got to find a place for these 2 kids to live. And then you also got to find a job that can begin paying you now. There's going to be jobs out there. I understand this guy was in Minnesota. This was a CNBC article, but the same applies here in South Florida. Get to a restaurant, get to a hotel, do whatever you need to do, and begin working now to plan your exit in December. That is going to be your only parachute you can count on. Is another government stimulus check coming? Who knows? There's no idea. You're going to have more time after December 31st. Don't count on it. You probably will, because it will take that long for the courts to catch up to you, but you're just going to be living, waiting for the knock on the door. So I don't understand when I see these stories, and I see that people are worried about what are they going to do. Take it in your own hands. Do something. Understand that you have to figure your way out of this. There's no fairy godmother. There's no government. We're going right into an election season. Things are crazy out there. I mean, absolutely nuts crazy. If you've got 2 little ones sitting at home, excuse me, and they're looking to you going, hey, Dad, not only do I have to find some place to live, but I also need to know What are we going to eat? Where are we going to go? Is it going to be safe? People are moving from all parts of the country here to South Florida. Rentals are going like that. I mean, literally, I had a friend of mine who had a house that he wanted to rent. We were talking about pricing, and he was kind of nervous in terms of what was going to happen. He had put it up, I think it was on Friday or Saturday, and he wasn't getting a lot of offers, and he was freaking out. And he rented it full price on Sunday afternoon. Somebody came, loved it, wanted it, boom, deal's done. That's how fast things are happening here in South Florida. And if you're not ready for or planning what's going to be happening, it's only going to get worse. There's going to be so much competition for so few properties. I'm telling you, start planning today. If you have to put it under your mattress, if you have to do, whatever you have to put it in the bank that someone can't see, you got to do it. You got to do what you got to do for self-preservation at this point. Because I can't keep answering these texts and emails. Well, what are we going to do in January? You're going to have to find some place to live. That's it. That's all we all have to do is find some place to live, find some place to work, find some place to make money. The world is in a crazy time right now. I'm looking at deals where, I can move for a quick flip. I'm also looking at the development deals that take a little bit more time. But rest assured, this market is nuts, and it's going to get even more nuts. And if you're not looking at the right data, you are going to be absolutely screwed. Absolutely screwed. And I'm going to tell you more about that when we get back. You hear?
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So I saw this video report from Diana Olick of CNBC News. She handles the Realty Check, which is the real estate section of CNBC. And she had it was a short piece. I'm going to play it for you here. It's a very short piece, and we're going to talk about it. And it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary where the market is going. And this is the kind of stuff I keep telling people to watch for. This is the kind of stuff I keep telling people you have got to be looking at this stuff because I'm stuttering because I keep saying it. And the problem is that most realtors, I'd say 90% of realtors won't tell you this. They won't tell you what's about to happen. And the only reason I'm telling you is because like the guy in the first segment here doesn't know what he is going to do. Wondering how he's going to get back on his feet. And the problem with all this is that you better be ready. And I just don't mean people who are facing foreclosures or evictions. I'm talking about people who are looking to sell their properties as well. And I'm talking to people now who are looking to buy properties and tell them, buy right. Make sure you buy really, really right. Because if you come into a property at $450,000 or $500,000, there's a very good chance that in the short-term future, that property could drop 25 or 30% in value. That property that you bought for $500 may only be worth $400 come April or May next year. There's not a lot of people who can withstand that. Buying something like a car, when you drive it off the lot, it depreciates and goes down in value very quickly. I foresee that happening very quickly after the election and into the first quarter of the new year. So here, let me play this for you, and we'll stop it and we'll talk. Okay.
Yeah, of course. We were talking about the number of borrowers who are still in these mortgage bailout forbearance programs. Now, unfortunately, the vast majority of those in the programs are now in renewals. That means they've extended their plans by another 3 months because they're still unable to make their monthly mortgage payments.
Now understand what she just said. People who had gotten into forbearance agreements, and a forbearance agreement is when you contact the bank and what you tell them is, I can't pay. I don't want to go to foreclosure, but I just can't pay. What can we do? And there's a number of different ways a bank can do it. A bank can say, hey, listen, we're going to give you an extra 3 months. We're going to tack on the missed payments onto the end of the loan. There's all kinds of different ways to structure it. But the fact of the matter is, people are still modifying their loan. That's important.
48,000 borrowers started their first forbearance plan so far this month. That's the lowest since the bailouts began, but it shows that some people still are needing to get help on their loans for the first time. So while some of the numbers are improving, the forecasts for foreclosures are deteriorating.
Okay. So 48,000 people across the country went into forbearance. What I'm looking at below that, peel that back a little bit, means there's a lot of people. When you start seeing the foreclosure numbers, there's a lot of people who don't qualify for a forbearance agreement. Because in order to have a forbearance agreement and have the bank agree to it, you have to have a means of paying it back. You can't call the bank and say, listen, I'm behind 3 months. I don't have a job. Not sure when I'm going to get a job. Can you push my payments back? The bank's going to laugh at you. You're going to have to go in that pile of applications. So let's listen some more.
Of seriously delinquent mortgages, that's at least 90 days past due, they've more than doubled from May to June, hitting the highest level in over 5 years. Now, borrowing further government support, CoreLogic predicts serious delinquencies could double again by early 2022.
So understand what she just said. And I hope you heard that. We haven't seen this level of foreclosures in 5 years. Just grasp that. That's how many foreclosures, and they're considering, not considering, it looks like the forecast is that will double in 2022.
Could seriously hurt home prices and home equity. Foreclosure filings now are still historically low.
I know she talks fast, and I wish people really dig into this. This is going to hurt existing home prices. People in the business, people who are digging into the data here, are sounding the bell. We're ringing the bell. We're screaming it. I keep doing videos about it, and I look around at realtors, and they're like, oh, it's a great time to buy. And I'm like, you people are going to destroy people's lives. You don't understand it. You're telling someone, hey, man, the market's on fire. Things are doing great. This house that was $400 last month or 2 months ago is now for $475, and next month it's going to be $525. You need to get in right now. And this person buys this house for $500,000 thinking they got a great deal because they're latched onto a rocket ship. And then reality hits next year when the market just goes like that. Why? Because all these foreclosures are looming and nobody is telling people how to protect themselves for the plummeting housing value. Been through this before. I'm looking at basically deja vu. This is what happened in 2008, 2009. This is what happened. Everybody thought they were on a rocket ship. Condo conversions were the thing. People were sending it off or sight unseen. Every single thing that we see right now was happening back then. Cheap mortgages. But there was no pandemic and a crap load of people out of work. The world wasn't on fire. There wasn't murders and shootings happen everywhere. And now we've got governors of some states shutting things down. That didn't happen. All of the things that are happening now didn't happen in 2008, 2009. So obviously the impact now is going to be so much worse. And nobody is talking about it. Let's go back.
but they actually jumped 11% from July to August, according to Adam data, as several
11% in 1 month. Foreclosures jumped 11% in 1 month, and that's with the courts being closed in most areas. Are you starting to see our courts have been closed for 7 or 8 months? There is now a moratorium for another 3 months. Courts here aren't going to even rev up again until the end of December, basically January, and it's already climbing.
Moratoria on foreclosures lifted, and as more courts begin to open now, you can expect to see more activity there.
What else you need to know? That is the data that most people won't see in this 30 seconds of video that she just played. But you just saw it. The actual data. Foreclosures are up 11% in 1 month. We're about to see what the August data was, and I bet you it's going to be up even further. But you have to look at what's called the shadow inventory, the shadow data. All the numbers that people are talking about are not taking into account what's going to happen. I'm not sure why people are ignoring that, but I showed you a couple of days ago how to look up final judgments and see what stage different parts of the counties were in terms of how many final judgments, how many list pendencies, all these things that you can begin doing your homework, and people are ignoring it. So, what do we do with this? Barry, I'll get emails from people, Barry, you're sounding the bell, but you're an investor. How do you make money when you're facing all this stuff? Well, we get back and we spend a short period of time letting you know how to do that.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
Okay, so in closing here, it's pretty simple. And I can walk you through it. Go ahead and give me an email, send me a text, or whatever. But the foreclosure market is going to make some of us millions, multi-millions. The opportunity zones are going to be just immense with profit. Section 8 rentals, where people who are guaranteed money from the government paying the landlords, that's going to be huge. Those are going to be the quivers, the arrows in my quiver. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for foreclosures and list pendencies, people who have nowhere to go. People who have to get out. They're there. Right now, they're not really moving because they know they have another 3 months. And so start building a database. Start building a database now that says, hey, listen, Fred, Sheila, Shirley, in 90 days, these people are going to need to have some place to live. They're not going to qualify for a forbearance agreement. What do? Be there. Start contacting them now. Three months will go by just like that. Start contacting them now. Send them letters. Get them information. Let them know, hey, listen, I understand you're in a bad situation, but it's about to get worse. Inventory is going to tighten. You're going to need a place to live. And I've told you the techniques. Number 2, look at rentals that cash flow from day one with Section 8 dollars. There already is a ton of people holding vouchers looking for places to live. And some of these vouchers, depending on a county and area, are paying really, really well. Guaranteed money. Guaranteed money. That's number 2. Number 3, look at some development. Look at doing some stuff in the opportunity zones where you can sell tax credits to investors with money and be able to put up affordable housing units, possibly rentals for the people who are about to get booted out where they are now. planning. This is where all the money's going to be made. Planning for what's about to happen. The seas are going to turn very turbulent very quickly. We got 50 days to an election. Who knows what's going to happen? And who knows what's going to happen after the election? When there's volatility, like we're probably going to see, banks don't like volatility. Investors don't like volatility. They pull back. They get the alligator arms, turn into little T-Rexes. They're not going to be looking to put some money out until they figure out what the hell is going on. That's why you got to get your money in place now. Because it's going to be like trading places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, where people all around are going to be looking for who can buy, who can bail me out of here. Who's got the goods that will take me out of this bad situation. And that's where you come in, riding a white horse, and you'll be able to buy things at your terms. I'm serious. That's what I'm looking to do. And for some reason, I don't know why a lot of people aren't talking about it. But when you see little snippets like you just heard Diana Olick from CNBC, and the data is there. Nobody's making this stuff up. The foreclosures and evictions are going to happen. They're going to multiply exponentially. It's not an if. It's a matter of when. And when it happens, Katie bar to the door. Shit's going to go nuts. So, again, my plan, 1, I want to look at buying foreclosures, short sales, get ready for that. Number 2, I want to look at rentals that I can put Section 8 renters into them. And number 3, looking at some opportunity zone development to basically hedge everything else. That's where I see the market heading for the next year. And it only works if you have money put aside, and I mean in terms of having your relationship with investors, and you have people willing to do these deals with you. If you put the deals together, the money will be there. I'm constantly asking people, hey, listen, you want to get involved in some deals? You want to see 10 to 14, 16% returns, regardless of who wins the election, regardless of what's happening in the market? I'm getting texts right now. And people watching this show are like, Barry, you're scaring the hell out of me. Don't be scared. Act. Do something. Be ready. Understand. Shit's going to get real, people. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just a matter of how long it takes. You're seeing it now. You're seeing that things just shift. Stock market going up, down, violence, pandemic. That doesn't make investors feel good. But it makes investors feel good to know the safety of an investment. Investors love stability. And you're going to have to be, if you choose to make money in real estate, that person who's promoting stability. And that's what I'm looking to promote. I'm looking to show investors that 1, we can buy foreclosures, short sales, we can do some auction bidding and buy some properties. 2, we can get some rental properties, put Section 8 renters in, let the government pay for us, and 3, look at some opportunity zone development that makes sense financially. Watch this, watch it over, see what I said about, everything. Check out what Diana Olick said, and have a good evening, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.